Hi, this is Cafecito con Julissa. This is a time for me to address your comments, answer your questions, and sometimes even address the haters. Today's topic for our very first Cafecito is Wall Street evil? Now, recently I've been getting lots of comments about the fact that I worked on Wall Street and how, because I worked on Wall Street, I have a conflict of interest. And because I worked on Wall Street, I'm not able to tell the Bernie or bust people that that sort of thinking is going to get us a President Trump. So I like to address that. I like to talk about my time on Wall Street, and I like to talk about whether or not Wall Street is evil. Of course, we all know about the financial crisis. We all know how much damage what happened on Wall Street did to the rest of the American economy. And I'm not arguing that. There was a lot of greed and there was a lot of things that were done within Wall Street that weren't supposed to be done. People on Wall Street took advantage of mainstream. I get that. That happened. I witnessed it. I was in Wall Street when that happened. So let's just put that to the side and all agree that there was a lot of greed on Wall Street and that a lot of bad things happened on Wall Street. Having said that, let's now move on to me having worked there. I worked on Wall Street for 10 years. 6 of those years I worked at Goldman Sachs, and 4 of those years I worked at Merrill Lynch. And to be honest, I feel really proud of what I accomplished when I was on Wall Street. I went from selling funnel cakes on the streets of San Antonio to selling derivatives at one of Wall Street's most profitable, most powerful firms, Goldman Sachs. And a lot of people will look at that and say, that gives me pause about your story. That gives me pause about who you are as a human being because you work there. But let me take you back to 2001, to 2002, 2005, when I started thinking about working on Wall Street. I started working on Wall Street in 2005, at a time when working on Wall Street was a desirable thing. Every college graduate who wanted to work in the business world wanted to work on Wall Street. There was an elegance about working on Wall Street. It was something that people aspired to, that people worked their whole lives to be able to work on Wall Street. It was something that people were proud of. And I was proud of making it all the way to Goldman Sachs. And my journey to Goldman Sachs wasn't an easy one. It was one that was filled with sacrifice, unimaginable sacrifice. I gave a lot of things up. I sacrificed seeing my family for many, many, many years. I put my personal life on hold to be able to make it up the ranks at Goldman Sachs. And I did my job. I worked really hard every single day that I worked there. And when I think about the way that people talk about Wall Street, and then I think about my colleagues that I worked with, I don't see the same things. And that's not to say that there weren't bad people on Wall Street. Of course there were. But all of a sudden it's become as though having worked on Wall Street is this kind of like scarlet letter that I have to wear now. And I always have to caveat with people, I no longer work at Goldman Sachs. And I've been getting all these tweets recently pointing out that I worked at Goldman Sachs. And it's kind of interesting to me that people are tweeting out links of articles where it says that I worked on Wall Street, and they still say, hello, she works on Wall Street, hello, don't you see where her conflict of interest is? Please read the article. I haven't worked on Wall Street since 2011. And the other thing, I don't understand why all of a sudden making money, having financial success, and achieving the American dream is a terrible, bad thing. Isn't that what we're working toward? For all of us to be able to have economic mobility, for all of us to be able to live the kind of lives that we want to have, and for all of us to be able to provide for our families in a way that we wish we would have been provided for. I think about the American dream not just as making a ton of money for yourself, but also the American dream to me is about giving back. It's about paying it forward, about pulling other people up, about creating opportunities for people who don't have them, opportunities that you had that people still don't have. And I think I have done that. Yes, I made a ton of money when I worked on Wall Street. I didn't make millions. I wanted to, and I don't think that's a bad thing. But I also paid it forward In 2012, I co-founded a scholarship fund called the Ascend Educational Fund. And through AEF, we provide college scholarships and mentorship to immigrant students in New York City, regardless of their immigration status. So undocumented kids who are first-generation Americans can achieve their dream of going to college, of pursuing their dreams. And by the way, some of those kids, their dream is to go work on Wall Street. They're not thinking about the criminal Wall Street. They're thinking about the Wall Street that will be able to be their bridge to a better life. Wall Street is one way to do that. When I think about what kids want to do now, a lot of kids now want to go work in the tech industry and at startups, and that's a great thing. We should encourage STEM education among our communities. But what happens if there's ever a tech bubble and people lose millions of dollars? Are we going to blame those kids for that disaster? No, because they were pursuing their dreams. They were trying to make something better of their lives. And to me, paying it forward, giving it back through AEF is one of the things that I am most proud of. In some ways, even more proud of than having worked at Goldman Sachs. But by the way, I wouldn't be able to provide those opportunities for other people. I wouldn't have been able to give my family a better life if it wasn't for the time I spent on Wall Street, if it wasn't for the money that I made while I worked on Wall Street. And by the way, I do think that there is something going on Wall Street and something wrong on Wall Street that needs to be addressed. But let's not forget, though, that investment banks and banks in general play a really important role in the economic health of our country. We wouldn't be able to get mortgages. We wouldn't be able to have credit cards. We wouldn't be able to buy a car on credit or lease a car. Companies wouldn't be able to go public and create millions of American jobs if it wasn't for the function that investment banks play in our economy. Now, it is the government's job to create policies and regulations that prevent the kind of greed that happened in 2008. It is their job to create policies and regulations that make sure that no banks are too big to fail, so that the American public, the American taxpayer, doesn't have to bail out Wall Street while mainstream sinks to the bottom. Having said all of that, I would just like to say thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching, for letting me give a little bit of insight into my thinking of having worked on Wall Street. For me, Wall Street was a bridge to achieving the dreams and the ambitions that I had growing up. I grew up not knowing where our next rent check was going to come from. And yes, like having, I read a review about my book recently that said, it's no surprise that given her background, she'd want to make bank. But why does she have to go make it on Wall Street? I liked math. I found Wall Street exciting. I liked finance. I liked financial transactions. I like understanding how our economy and the financial system works. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. And as I said, I have used the success, the little or big success that I've had, not just to benefit me, but to benefit other people. And to make sure that other young kids, other young Latinas, little Latina girls can look at their future and know that there is a future for them, that they can do anything they want to. And if they want to be Wall Street bankers, let them go be Wall Street bankers. Let them go in there and influence how Wall Street works. Let them go in there and have a seat at the table and be able to set what the priorities of the bank are. We need to have a seat at every single table in order to change things. So thank you so much for listening. I hope that you leave a lot of questions and comments. I want to have these cafecitos with you often so that we can address different things, so that I can answer your questions. And there will be times when I probably don't need any more caffeine. Today, I think I kind of need it. I'm a little bit tired from the week. But thank you again, and make sure to pre-order your copy of my Underground American Dream. I can't believe that the book is gonna come out in a little over a month. Save the date, September 13th. And if you are in New York City, I hope that you will join me at the Strand Bookstore, the iconic Strand Bookstore in New York City on September 13th for the release of my first book, my memoir, My Underground American Dream. Thanks again. Have a great day. And if you drink coffee, enjoy your coffee. If you drink tea, enjoy that too. Thank you and talk to you soon.